What is up, guys? My name is Quincy Carrier, and this is another edition of Q&A where you ask them and I answer them. Thank you guys for asking questions this week on YouTube exclusively. That's where I took the questions from. And let's just get into it. The first question comes from Giants Nation, who says, do you think the Cowboys should sign Dak Prescott right now or let him play out the last year of his rookie deal and base his contract on his performance this season? How the Cowgirls do. Okay, guess... yeah, Cowboys, Giants, it's a big rivalry. Well, I think if you're the Cowboys, you don't really have a replacement for Dak Prescott on your roster. It would be smart for you to lock him up. Now, I know he's going to be expensive. I know you might not be looking to pay that much for a quarterback, but guess what? That is the market for a quarterback. If you want somebody who's going to be able to be a stable starter for you, you're just going to have to pay a lot of money for it. So if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you got to pony up the money, because if you let this get to the last year of his deal, if you start to do franchise tag nonsense, then you start to damage the relationship between Dak Prescott and Jerry Jones, which means that you might come to a point to where you won't be able to re-sign him even if you wanted to, similar to what Kirk Cousins dealt with in Washington. So if you're Dallas Cowboys, if you want a quarterback, you don't really have a plan to replace it, and your team as constructed, having Ezekiel Elliott and other tools, you're not going to be bad enough to get another quarterback anytime soon. You got to re-sign Dak Prescott right now when he wants it in order to not put any damage on that relationship. The next question is from Devin Harris, who says, do you think this offense, I think he's speaking of the Browns, could be the best in the league? Yeah, it's definitely possible. Baker Mayfield is a up-and-coming quarterback. You have two very good Pro Bowl level proven wide receivers in Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham. You have guys with elite potential like Antonio Callaway, and then you have guys who are very solid like Rashard Higgins in between there, and then you also have David Njoku. Your line could be solid. That's the only question mark on offense, but if they are, you have Nick Chubb and possibly Kareem Hunt and Duke Johnson in the backfield. So yes, there are a lot of tools on this roster in order for them to be able to be one of the best offenses in the NFL. Will that happen? I think there's a couple questions they have to answer. I think the lack of size in the passing game is going to be something that they're going to have to figure out, because neither Rashard Higgins, Antonio Callaway, Jarvis Landry, or Odell Beckham are really tall guys. I think only one of them, Rashard Higgins, is over 6 foot, and he's barely over 6 foot. He's 6'1". So that means a lot of relying on David Njoku and Demetrius Harris in the red zone. That still doesn't take away their potential. I think if they're smart enough, they can scheme around it and find ways. And if you got a guy like Nick Chubb in the backfield, that kind of solves a lot of problems when it comes to size at wide receiver. So yeah, I think this team could definitely be one of the best offenses in the NFL. If that happens, that's yet to be seen. But hey, we're close to finding out, because training camp's going to open in just a few weeks. The next question is from A916 Kid, who says, where do you think Duke Johnson would be a good fit? Around the NFL, I think he would be a good fit. For whatever reason, I see him in Arizona. If they want to get rid of David Johnson and bring in a cheaper option, and then trade off David Johnson for some assets in Arizona, since they're going to take a while to be where they're at. I could see them going for Duke Johnson. He can do and perform a very similar role. I also can see him working for the Patriots. And I think the LA Rams is also another good fit for him. He could take some of that load off of Todd Gurley in the passing game, and really be a help for him. And the Browns would not have to trade him in division to a team that they possibly would have to compete with. The next question is from Terry Lair, who says, Quincy, I got to ask you, who out of our backup quarterbacks do you think could eventually step in and help us win if something did happen to Baker, God forbid? I hate even saying that, but it has to be asked. I personally think Gilbert over Father Time Stanton. Dog check. 2 X emojis. See, if Baker Mayfield gets injured, there's not really a good option for this team. Drew Stanton and Garrett Gilbert aren't really the greatest options for anybody. I do agree with you that if you have to have somebody replace Baker, knock on wood, that it would probably have to be Garrett Gilbert. I think Drew Stanton's style just doesn't fit the personnel and the offense he would be working with. I think Garrett Gilbert while he may not be as seasoned and know as many coverages as Drew Stanton, he is going to be able to have the mentality of going down the field. If you watched him in the All-American Football League with the Orlando Apollos, I believe, he was going down the field constantly in that Steve Spurrier offense. And I think that's what's going to be asked of him if he steps in for this Todd Monken offense. And I think that's what would work. And I think that is ultimately what will work best with this personnel. So, yeah, Drew Stanton is the veteran, but I would have to give the nod to Garrett Gilbert. Either way, Baker Mayfield gets hurt, we're in serious trouble, so let's hope that doesn't happen if you're a Browns fan. The next question is from Sean Ballantyne, who says, most surprising cut that could happen? I was thinking Jalen Strong or Brendan Colquitt. I don't think Jalen Strong is going to be a surprising cut if he is let go. We'll have to see how camp goes for him. Brendan Colquitt would be a supremely surprising cut if they were to make it. I don't think they're going to make it because this team is planning on contending, and I know they have a rookie in there right now with Brendan Colquitt punting, but Brendan Colquitt is one of the best, absolute best punters in the NFL. This team is not cash strapped. I just don't see a reason to not keep him. He is a very good punter. In this league, you're going to need a very good punter. And the last thing you want if you're a contending team is to be screwed over by a bad punter. So not really in the cards, I think, this year. Wouldn't make a lot of sense for John Dorsey to cut Brendan Colquitt. I would say the most surprising cut that could happen would be Morgan Burnett at strong safety. I know they just signed him, but did not prove a lot in Pittsburgh. Still has a lot to prove. I think a lot of people know him from his days in Green Bay, but I'm not 100% sold that he's going to be able to contribute this year on this defense, and if he's going to be able to make the team. So I think Morgan Burnett's definitely a possibility to be cut. Trevon Coley is also somebody who you're going to think is going to have a solid rotation role, but he did perform so badly last year that I don't know how far he regressed and if he regressed himself off the team. But those are my two that I'm going to go with right now. The next question is from the Catster, who says, who has the best hair in the NFL? You know, I liked Odell's, but Odell cut his a little bit, so now it looks kind of weird. I think he's going to have it for the season, so it looks right. But you know, I think I'm gonna go with Odell. You know, I'm gonna just stick with Odell. I think he has the best hair. He has the most iconic hair. When you think of hair in the NFL, other than remnants of Troy Polamalu, if you're a diehard NFL fan, I think the next set of hair that pops into your mind is probably Odell Beckham. So I have to give it to him. I think he has the best hair in the NFL. Next question is from Zachary M. Tinlin, who says, who do you think will have the potential to be the biggest disappointment this year? Okay, so people who watch this show a lot know what might come out of my mouth, as they have come to Twitter and in the comment sections to attack me because they don't like this opinion. But one of the guys, if you're looking for a disappointment that could definitely disappoint, is Antonio Callaway. He could have a very disappointing year. It's a season where he's not going to get the ball as much as he did last year. He's not going to get the opportunities. He's not going to get the opportunities to mess up that he had last year. So I could see him in this scenario definitely taking a step back. Now, if he does take a step forward, that will be a huge thing for this Browns offense to have another deep threat. But that being said, I can't necessarily forget that he has issues hauling in the ball consistently and giving consistent effort on every play, especially when the ball is not going to be going in his direction. And in an offense where the ball may not be going his direction significantly more, I worry about Antonio Callaway in that way. The next question is from Justin Wyant, who says, how many Browns players make it to the Pro Bowl? Well, let's try to count it out. We're going to go on offense. You got Odell Beckham. That's probably a Pro Bowler. Jarvis Landry, you would hope, is a Pro Bowler. Joe Bitonio, it's 3. That's a Pro Bowler. You would need Greg Robinson to have a good year, but not necessarily a Pro Bowl year. I would say J.C. Treader, you'll probably need him to be at a Pro Bowl level. That's 4. And then let's go to running back, Nick Chubb, Pro Bowler. Kareem Hunt's not going to be able to play as many games, so he's not going to be a Pro Bowler. Baker Mayfield. That's 6 Pro Bowlers right now on just my first pass through on offense. And defensively, we have Myles Garrett, that's 7. Olivier Vernon, that's 8. Larry Ogunjobi is a guy I have pegged to make the Pro Bowl. It's 9. Sheldon Richardson could, but I don't think he will. I think they're going to probably let somebody else get in there. Denzel Ward, he made the Pro Bowl last year, is 10. I think Greedy Williams can definitely be a Pro Bowler. That's 12. And we can round it off with Joe Schobert is 13. And then Demarius Randall. The Browns could have 14 to 15 Pro Bowlers. So I would go somewhere within, the 10 to 12. The Browns have the season that they're supposed to. But potentially I could have a monstrous amount of Pro Bowlers. And hopefully they have those many Pro Bowlers, but they don't have to play in the Pro Bowl game because they have other obligations for that week. All right, guys, that is it for this week's show. Thank you guys for asking questions, and thank you guys for bearing with me during this little bit of a hiatus this channel was taking. Only putting out about a video a week, and only those being Q&As. Just know, starting next week, it's going to be the full onslaught of videos, starting with the 2-part series about the 2002 Browns. So get ready to enjoy that. And then after that happens, we're full on straight ahead for training camp. And I got a lot of exciting things planned out for training camp in the preseason, so just stay tuned. And if you want to stay in tune and be in tune with this channel as it continues to grow, as this season continues to approach, please consider hitting that subscribe button, hitting the like button, and dinging that notification bell so you can know when I upload. And I upload 3 times a week normally, and I definitely will upload 3 times a week during the season and during training camp, so don't you worry. And if you have a buck or two to spare, please consider joining Patreon, where you can have your name added to this nice little ticker at the bottom of the video. And you can use that to show off to your friends or do whatever you do with that information. But that is it for this week's show. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great day and have a good night.